Hello, welcome to this Joyful Living series. Upon his ascension, Jesus promised his disciples that they will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon them. The essence of that power was to make them effective witnesses to the gospel. We all desire to have power, but what we sometimes understand as power, or the kind of power we seek, might be something other than what Jesus promised us. This might be part of the frustrations that people experience. Follow me to the end of this video to understand the concept of power that will help you to be relevant and joyful all your days. There are various definitions of power depending on the field of study, but a general dictionary definition of power is the ability or capacity to do something or to act in a particular way, and the capacity or ability to influence the behavior of others or the course of events. There are two basic impressions of power in this definition. The first conceals power as effectiveness. The capacity or ability to act or perform effectively is an indication that the actor is powerful. This definition places the evaluation of power on the level of the actor's performance. Power is within the subject, and its effect is seen in the action or the results of the actions performed by the subject. The second part of the definition conceals power as forcefulness, the ability to control, influence, and determine the course of action or events is the measure of the power that is exercised by the subject. In this case, the subject does not need to be the one performing the act, but has the power to cause the action to be performed. This is the kind of power we see in hierarchical structures where command flows from top to bottom. How a person conceives power determines the person's feeling of being powerful or powerless. In human relationship, a person who conceives power as forcefulness is likely to often look around for someone or something to control. The person feels relevant in that position of power when there are subjects that pay some sort of allegiance. In a marriage or friendship relationship, the person is likely to often evaluate relationship in terms of who is in charge, who says what is done, and decides the course of events in the relationship. And where both parties share this idea of power and long to have some sort of control over the other, arguments over little things might be inevitable. This is the concept of power that overcame the disciples of Jesus when they began arguing among themselves who was the greatest. A person who conceives power as effectiveness will most likely be interested in ways of getting things properly done. Openness to new ideas, empowering and motivating people are the traits of power as effectiveness. While power as forcefulness produces leaders who command and demand obedience, power as effectiveness encourages participation, team spirit, collaboration, unity, and guidance. When couples, colleagues, and friends employ power as effectiveness, they create the synergy needed to enhance their relationships, improve on their performance, and create a healthy environment where everyone can thrive. Jesus' exercise of power gives us an insight into ways of exercising both concepts of power. He had the power to do whatever he wanted, but he rather exercised his power and authority to free mankind from the forces that held them in bondage. He cast out devils, healed the sick, and commanded the dead to rise. He forced the powers of darkness to do his bidding, such that mankind might be free. He used his power to protect and care. Acts chapter 10, verse 38 says of him, God anointed Jesus of Nazareth with the Holy Spirit and with power. He went about doing good and healing all who were oppressed by the devil, for God was with him. It's clear, therefore, that Jesus employed power to protect, care, heal, and build up the people. There are two dimensions that are clearly spelled out in the manner that Jesus applied power. These two dimensions are symbolized in the action of a good shepherd, which is indeed a very good symbol of a powerful leader. The shepherd uses his power as a force to drive out wolves and ravenous animals that attack the sheep under his care, and uses power as effectiveness to guide the sheep to good pasture. That is the essence of power, to ward off evil and build up the good. Misunderstanding the essence of power leads to unhealthy competition, excessive desire to rise to the top with the intention of wielding power and control over the rest of the people. That idea only leads to all kinds of negativity and often ends up enslaving people. When you see people engaging in unhealthy competition, dominance, backbiting, and unhealthy rivalry, you can understand where they are coming from. Another dimension of misunderstanding power is the feeling of powerlessness. When we have the wrong concept of power, we might think that we are powerless, while in reality, we can do a lot. Feelings of powerlessness leaves a person open to frustration, manipulation, and undue control by others. When a person feels powerless in the face of a situation, self-doubt sets in, and the person can easily fall prey to any offer of help without examining the hidden conditions attached. Knowing that you are empowered, therefore, is essential for a healthy, active, fulfilled, and productive life. Irrespective of your situation in life, You are always powerful enough to do the things that would keep you relevant and happy. There is always something you can do and do better than anyone else. You are relevant, and the moment you discover your area of relevance and focus on it, you will exercise a great deal of power and influence. Imagine the situation of the slave girl that Naaman took home in one of their raids against the Israelites. That girl became a slave to his wife. Powerless little maid, you might say. Yet, it was that girl that set into motion the process that led to the healing of Naaman when she told her mistress about the prophet in Samaria that can cure Naaman. And again, when Naaman's pride moved him to reject the order of the prophet to go and wash in the Jordan, it was his servants that convinced him to obey. Otherwise, he would not have been healed. Can you imagine what would have happened had Naaman returned home in rage without being healed? You can then see that little slave girl's action and the intervention of the servants did much more than just the healing of Naaman. Without them being diplomats, their action brought some peace between Israel and Aram. This is where care must be taken in the exercise of power and how people are treated. If Naaman's wife was wicked to the Jewish maid, she might not have felt concerned or have the courage to advise Naaman to visit the prophet in Samaria. That's why power must be used to protect, encourage, empower, build up, and strengthen those we consider to be weak. When we understand how powerful we are and how best to exercise the power that we have, we can create legacies and leave joyful memories in the minds of people around us. May you realize how powerful God has made you and put that power into positive use for the good of the people around you. Thanks for watching.